gosh. You know what? I think what we should do, all of us together, because this will make me feel better too. Everybody take a big deep breath in, hold it, and just let it go. Let go of everything. Let go of anything that's at home, anything you have to do tomorrow, just let it go, okay? One more, okay? Okay, I think I'm calmer now too. I'm sure you've all heard that if you talk to a plant really nicely, it will grow and flourish more than if you ignored it, right? You've all heard that. Talk to your plants, be nice to them. Well, there's actually a scientific study behind this. They put 3 plants in their own individual rooms. One plant, they went in once a day and they said really nice things to it. And then all 3 of them had their basic needs, right? Their water, their sunlight. And then the middle plant, it had no interaction, just its basic needs. They would come in and water it, and then walk away. The third plant, they would go in and say terrible things to it. Be very mean to this plant and say awful things to it. Well, 2 of these plants lived. One of them flourished. One of them was like, eh. The third one died. Isn't that crazy? I love hearing and reading about this study because it shows that the words you speak are literally so physically powerful. They're so powerful. So what do you think about when you say mean things to yourself? You're just saying them because you need to be better, or you're not doing this, or whatever. And so you get after yourself over and over and over again. It might be because you had like some experiences as a child that made you think you had to be either perfect or that you need to please everybody or show up in a certain way or not show up, which was my experience as a child. I was always minimized. I felt very small. And so I'm not saying it's your fault that you're saying bad things to yourself. It's okay. It's almost like innate, something that we have to do as a human being to be better. It's normal, right? But I'm here tonight to help you change those thoughts and flourish like the first plant. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. Sorry, one more breath. As Casey mentioned, with my second baby, I struggled with postpartum depression. I also struggled with postpartum anxiety, which I had never even heard of before until it was happening. And I thought, this is so weird. I've never felt this way or like been this person before. And then I found out that it's a real thing. And I had my baby in the winter time, and I actually lived up Provo Canyon in a cabin for almost a whole year. I lived in this cabin. And in the winter time, my husband's work gets very, very busy. So I had a baby, and I had to live in this cabin. I didn't know anybody around me, and my husband was gone all the time. I think that was definitely a huge trigger of postpartum depression for me, and anxiety, because I was alone and worried about everything. And it was just so isolating. I ended up being able to tell my husband what was going on, and I'm having these thoughts, and it's not a good situation. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure you're not alone, which is really like what I need as a person. I definitely love connection, and I love people. And so I really needed that. And that helped me with the really hard stuff, right? But as a result of this, I started shaming myself for everything. Everything. I'm not a terrible mom. I can't work out. I can't eat healthy. Why am I going to McDonald's every single day? Why am I doing frozen pizza for my kids every single day? And I kid you not, this is not an exaggeration. Stand in the mirror and just say, oh my gosh, you're so fat. Like out loud, I said those things. You're so fat. You're so ugly. Like you're a cow. I don't know why I used that one, but I did. And that morphed into every day, all the time. Why can't you work out? Why can't you do this? Why are you such a terrible mom, wife, friend, all the things? And I mean, I had insecurities before, but this was like intense. This was bad. And guess what, guys? Those were affirmations. All of those things I was saying to myself, those were affirmations. They're just negative affirmations. What they were doing was affirming what I thought I believed about myself. They were proving to me that those little thoughts that come in that aren't always true or have very little truth to them were true, and they were like full-blown problems, right? And I would see them over and over and over again and really create something that didn't need to exist. So that's a negative affirmation. Well, I ended up joining this makeup company, and my leader in this company, bless her heart, she is just the best mindset person ever. Anyway, she recommended a book to me, and I want to see by raise of hand if any of you have read or heard of The Miracle Morning. Anybody? Yes! Oh, so many of you. Oh, I love it. If you've never heard of The Miracle Morning or you haven't read it, please go read it. It's an amazing book about a really crazy story of this man who went through a lot of hard times, and he created a miracle morning for himself. He uses the acronym SAVERS, and this is what he said to do. I had never engulfed a book as fast as I engulfed this book, and so I wanted to do everything that he was saying, because I was like, oh, this is so good. So SAVERS, every morning you get up and you have silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scripting, or like journaling. It wouldn't have fit with, SAVERS. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I was getting up an hour early. I have this newborn baby, and I'm getting up an hour early. I shouldn't have been doing that, but it's fine. And I was having silence, which when you have anxiety, silence doesn't exist in your mind. And then I was pulling these affirmations off of the internet and just saying these random, like, I love my body, or I am enough, or I am worthy, right? I was just saying these things, random generic things. And I was doing everything else. Well, every morning I was saying these affirmations, like, this is so dumb. This is the dumbest thing ever. Why am I doing this? Why am I saying these things out loud? Like, it feels so weird and awkward. But I didn't believe them. I had no belief that I was beautiful or I loved my body. I didn't believe any of that. And that was my biggest problem. And I just thought I was dumb, and so I gave it up. So when people tell me, oh, affirmations are weird, or they're stupid, or they don't work, I'm like, I've been there. I totally understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. Because you didn't believe those affirmations. You didn't actually think they were true. But one day, I don't remember what I was doing. Remember, I was trying to tell myself that I was beautiful because I didn't believe it before. I knew it was a problem. Obviously, it was out of hand, and I was like, okay, I got to do something. And so I was trying these affirmations, and they were dumb. But one day, I was changing a diaper or feeding my baby a bottle, can't really remember, and I was watching my hands do this. I was watching my hands, and this thought popped into my brain. I know it was divine guidance. I absolutely know it was not my thought. Your hands are so beautiful. Your hands are beautiful not because of the skin or the knuckles, or I have nice piano fingers, but because of what they represent. What are they doing right now? They're keeping your baby alive. They create, they love, they hug. They're amazing. And that clicked for me, that is a little bit of proof that the rest of me is beautiful, that I am beautiful. And finally, I could sort of start to believe that affirmation. So, we're going to get into in a little bit this process. I've gotten some secrets for affirmations for you. So we'll dive into the secrets in a little bit. But why affirmations? Why do we need affirmations? Well, think about the plant, right? The plant flourished. Think about kids. I know a lot of you are probably moms, or you've dealt with kids, or you know how kids work. When we give kids positive reinforcement, they're more likely to be happy to improve and do more, right? What if we started doing that for ourselves? We can give ourselves positive reinforcement and affirmations that we are doing a really good job and that we're amazing. We're all amazing. We're amazing. So they can remind you of the amazing qualities that you have, or they can remind you of your bad qualities if you're using negative affirmations. So switch it, flip it. If those negative thoughts come into your head, flip it. And find a little bit of proof that that quality is actually, or there is a good quality out of that instead of the negative one that you think. And then from there, we can expand those qualities into bigger and better improved qualities. They keep us positive. I have to look at my list, you guys, or I'm never going to remember everything. They just keep us positive and help us to have a happier life. Why wouldn't we want that? You want that, right? We all want to be happy. And affirmations can help us do that. They can keep a positive mindset in our life for ourselves. And in my experience, when I learned to love myself and have empathy and grace for myself, I could see it in so many other people. Once you learn to love yourself, you can love other people so much stronger and better. They can help you achieve goals, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard that if you say an affirmation every day, then you're going to achieve whatever it is that affirmation says about you. And then they help you gain confidence and love yourself. And confidence is relative. We have another keynote on confidence, but when you say those things over and over again and affirm those qualities, it gives you confidence. And especially the way we're going to talk about the cycle of using an affirmation, your confidence will grow exponentially. And really, all of these things together encompass overall joy. And for me, joy is different from happiness. Happiness is an emotion, and I really feel like joy is all-encompassing of hope, faith, gratitude, and it's just living a joyful life, a meaningful and purposeful life. So why wouldn't we want to use affirmations, right? I'm just trying to convince you that what I'm saying is really good. Okay, we're gonna get into how they work, the cycle and secrets, or whatever, of affirmations. And then we're gonna do a little exercise after that. You all have a little affirmation card on your tables for you, but let me just, we'll go over the cycle of an affirmation. And it's really cool when you start to understand how it can build and grow exponentially, like I was saying. So the first key thing, you have to believe what you're saying. If you don't believe what you're saying, then you're never going to become that person or achieve that goal, right? Because you won't be able to take the action if you don't believe it. And the way we do this is finding that little bit of proof. Remember, my hands were just a little bit of proof. And then I could say that over, and it wasn't overnight. Definitely not overnight. But I could just build upon that. I knew my hands were beautiful. I knew that had worth in my hands, and so why wouldn't I have that in the rest of me? And so you use your proof to build upon that and take action. So what action do you need to take to further this affirmation? Really, if you just said something every single day and then you didn't do anything about it, you're never going to grow and you're never going to get anywhere. So if you were saying like, I'm a billionaire, yeah, I'm a billionaire, and say that every day, but sit at home and don't do anything, I'm pretty sure like you're not going to be a billionaire. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to be a billionaire if you're just saying that every day. But if you believe in yourself, even a little, that you have potential to be a billionaire, maybe you have this amazing idea that could be a billionaire idea. You use that proof, right? Oh yeah, I could be a billionaire because I have this little bit of potential, right? And you use that and you take action. What do you need to do next? What do you need to change in your life? What uncomfortable things do you need to get out of and improve? And then, once you take that action, this is super important. This is what we all struggle with, especially as women. Give yourself so much grace. So much grace. That was just beautiful timing. You've got to be kind to yourself when it comes to improving anything. I know for myself, especially while I was going through that hard time, I tried every single diet, and like I spent a lot of money on protein shakes and supplements, and I'm not saying those things are bad, because they're not. But I would like do it for a week and then fail, and I didn't have the belief in myself that I could do it, because the failure to me was proof that I couldn't. And so I would stop and waste all those protein shakes and stuff. I eventually drank them all, I promise. And once I learned to give myself some grace and just be like, oh my gosh, look at you. You tried really hard. You did a really great job at what you wanted to do. We'll just try again tomorrow. And I realized and not even tomorrow, every moment is another opportunity to grow or to do better or to try again. Every moment. So you can have those thoughts, those feelings, those hard things that you may have done, but in this next moment, you can try again. You can have a better mindset. You can do it again, and it's okay. And you leave the past where it is and stop shaming yourself for what you did do or didn't do, and give yourself some grace. But I have learned without a shadow of a doubt that God wants you to have these tools to be happy and joyful and have a joyful life. Yes, we're here to have trials. We're going to have trials. We all have trials. They're going to keep coming. Life doesn't change in the future of the way that how hard it's going to be. But God still wants us to find joy in everything. And I personally believe this is one of those tools. And I'm so happy that I could be here and give that to you today. And if you guys have any questions, you can find me after. But I think that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you. So thank you so much.
So tonight, first of all, thank you, Stephanie. I love affirmations, and part of like my physical transformation, that was one of the things that I did differently this time that I've never done before, was like really like looking at myself in the mirror and being like, I am so awesome or something, you know. Well, I didn't just say that. I came up with like ones that were really personal and stuff, but I loved that, and I think it is really powerful, and I love the example of plants. I thought that was so cool. So thank you so much, Stephanie. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about your physical transformations, and we're going to talk about it through transportations. So like think of different things like cars and buses and trains and things like that. First, we're going to talk about airplanes. So when you get on an airplane and you're sitting there and they do your safety spiel, this is something they always talk about. And they call it like the oxygen mask principle. So it says, place the oxygen mask on yourself first before helping small children or others who may need your assistance. So when it comes to your health in this, it's the exact same thing. And I think as women especially, we have this like, for some reason, we feel like that it's really selfish and that like thinking about ourselves first. But that is so not true, because if you think of it in this way, you are not being selfish at all. If you don't help yourself, you could possibly be laying there without oxygen and no one around you gets any help either. And so the first tip for tonight, I'm just going to give you small little health tips, is tip number 1, make your health a priority. Take care of you so you can take care of others. If you are not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else, right? So that is tip number 1, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that. Tip number 2, we're gonna take it. Oh, I forgot I had some cool quotes. Okay, so remember to take care of yourself. Sometimes you get so busy taking care of others that you forget that you're important too, right? So it's not I've heard that quote where it's not like taking care of yourself isn't I'm more important, it's I'm important too. Like, I'm important, so I'm gonna take care of myself, and then I can be better to take care of my family or when I'm working or whatever. Give it more. Dr. Phil, so it's gotta be true, says you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And then I love this one, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I can't give what I don't have, okay? So think of these, I want you to consider these questions. Like, are you getting enough sleep? Do you generally eat healthy so that you have energy to do what you want, what you need? Or are you just like snacking on your kids' food, you're making them something and you're just eating as you go? Or like, I'm starving and I'm gonna go do this right now, I'm just gonna hurry and go through the drive-thru and the fastest thing, I'm just gonna eat what is quickest, you know? And that, I feel like that's fine to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, is it something you do all the time? Or are you just, or are you thinking about your health? And like, most of the time you try to take care of yourself. And then sometimes, you get the cheeseburger. And then how much water are you drinking? Do you drink water? Water's real good for you. When's the last time you went on a walk or were outside or did some exercise? This one is kind of funny, but like, do you like get dressed and take care of yourself? I mean, we all, especially with quarantine, like, who cares? Like, yesterday was the first day I showered. That's gross. But I was like, well, it got to Wednesday and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna shower Friday, that's like too close. So I'll just keep going. And then, poor Tyson, but it's fine. So I want you to keep those things in mind about like what are you doing to take care of yourself? These are simple. This is not like something someone's asking you to do that is outrageous. Like, do you do these things? Or could you do one more? Okay, so now we're gonna talk about trains and about switch points. Is there someone up here that would be willing to read just like a little part for me? I will be on the next slide. Oh, okay, thanks, Tressa. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. It's kind of small, so you can read that. Yeah.
Okay. The course of our lives is not determined by great, awesome decisions. Our direction is set by the little day-to-day choices which chart the track on which we run. Many years ago, I worked in the head office of one of our railroads. One day, I received a telephone call from my counterpart in Newark, New Jersey, who said that a passenger train had arrived without its baggage car. The patrons were angry. Sorry. We discovered that the train had been properly made up in Oakland, California, and properly delivered to St. Louis, from which station it was to be carried to its destination on the East
Okay, so I love that. So you picture that, one spot, he literally moves it 3 inches. So that's not very much. And then it ends up, when I was telling Tyson this, I'm like, then it was 13,000 miles away. And he's like, I don't know where in America it could be 13,000. I'm like, I'm horrible with distance, obviously. But I was like, well, it makes it sound cooler to be like, fell off in the ocean and now it's like in Europe or something. So, if you think about that, like, if you think about that in your health, right? Those little things that we talked about before, like the little things you can do to take care of yourself, now they seem small. And sometimes it seems like, why am I going to do that? Or like, I don't notice a difference when I drink water. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me, so, And then like, then you start creating other habits. And it's like, whatever habits you're choosing now, in that, time passes, and later on you're either here or you're here, right? So with your health, with most every decisions and things that you do every day, those things matter. And so my second little tip for you is that the habits you do today or you start today, they do make a difference. And we're going to come back to that. We'll come back to that too. So when I show you this next word, I just want you to kind of yell out what comes to mind. Like, what do you think of? So when you think of the word journey, what do you think of? Yeah. Okay, that was quick too. 5 points for Laura. Like, what do you think of when there's like no right or wrong answers. What? Long. Yeah, journeys can seem very long. Changeable all the time. I love that. Fun. Yeah. Travel. I love it. What? Adventure. I love The Bachelor. They always talk about the journey. I haven't seen it, but I'm going to take your word for that. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Okay, so when I thought of this word, oh my gosh, I'm like, I don't know, that felt really cool. I feel like we should all take a minute to dance or something. Or just like, what is it? Yes. Okay, so the thoughts I had on this were that our journeys aren't necessarily like just about the destination, right? So usually a journey is because I'm trying to get somewhere, and along the way is the journey, right? So I have 3 people who are helping me. So if you are one of those 3 people, you can come up. Come on down. They know who they are. But it would be funny if someone else stood up too, Okay, so these are my friends, and they're gonna do a little demonstration for you, and I want you guys to just think like, what in the heck does this have to do with your physical transformation? Or journey, or the word journey. So they are gonna start here at the balloon arch, and they're gonna show us what a journey might look like. And they are gonna end at the health and hope sign, okay? On your marks, just kidding. Okay, go. Perfect, thank you guys. You guys can sit down, thank you. Okay, what did you guys notice? Everybody's journey is different. They have a different path. There's no wrong journey or right journey. Or timing. Holly went somewhere. We don't know where she went. But then, did she make it to the destination? Everybody made it there. They made it to their goal. They all had a goal, but each of them did it different, and that's totally okay. Something else, too, is that they didn't watch each other. They weren't focused on what the other person was doing. They were just doing their thing. And that is so important, especially with health. I mean, with everything, because I honestly think comparison is totally the thief of joy. You will lose your joy if all you're doing is comparing yourself to other people, because you will always feel the lack of like, oh, well, they do that. I obviously can't, or I'm not doing good at this, or they can do that so quick and I take forever. But Jess still got there, and she took forever. So let me show you. So this is your journey. I love these. Don't let your ice cream melt while counting someone else's sprinkles. Confidence isn't about walking into a room thinking you're better than everyone. It's walking in and not comparing yourself to anyone at all. Okay, this is another one I really love. If the grass looks greener on the other side, stop staring, stop comparing, stop complaining, start watering the grass where you're standing. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about my health journey. So actually, a lot of people here I know, so they've known me for a while. A lot of people I don't know. And so this time last year, I was pregnant with my third little baby, and I was 230 pounds. So I was a lot heavier than I am now. I was pregnant too, so granted that there was that. I had 8 pregnancies in I had 8 pregnancies in the last 7 years, and I have 3 babies. So I had a lot of miscarriages and went through a lot of, it always makes me emotional even though I'm like, okay, I'm good. But anyway, so my body had been through a lot. I had just been through a lot, and I wrote down some things from I know I'll get to a point where I'll kind of forget what I want to say when I get emotional. So I had really struggled with a lot, not just weight, but weight in other ways. I struggled a lot with anxiety. I had very situational depression where some things would just really get me down. I feel like I was in the victim mentality. Everything happened to me. Everything was it was definitely not my fault, but oh, how dare Tyson sleep in? He doesn't even care that I get up, It was things like that it's not him. If it's not them, but it always was. That was always in my mind. And anyways, I don't know why that makes me emotional. So that's where I was at. Then I had my cute little baby, Nora, and once she was about 2 months old, I was I've got to do something. I've got to change something about my health because I didn't have energy. I had 2 other kids who were 2 and 3. No, they were 1 and 2. So my kids, I had 3 kids under the age of 3. So I was exhausted and I did not feel energy. And it's almost that perpetual thing where you're I don't feel good, so I'm gonna eat the cheeseburger. So then that makes me not feel good, so I gotta eat the gummy bears. So then that makes me feel good for a little bit. But then all the habits and things I was doing never made me feel better. It did for a minute, but it never made me feel better. So I reached out to my friend Tressa, who's actually here. And she, I had a couple years ago seen her physical transformation, her journey. And she had just had her baby, and I saw just such a difference in her. Yes, weight, but a different light about her after she had done this program. And so I reached out to her and I was I've got to do something. And so I did a trained switch point, and I tried the Habits of Health program with Optavia, which was just a way of changing those habits, those little things we were talking about, and learning. It did start out, I'll say this, it did start out where in my mind, I just want to lose weight. That was it. That's all I was focused on. But once I started doing it, I started realizing, no, this is way different. This is more about my mind. Where's my mind? Why do I want to do this? I want to feel better. I want to have energy, all these things. So there you go. So that was me in June last year. I feel if I was just to show you that picture, I'd be so embarrassed. But but honestly, I'm that is what happens when you change your habits. And I probably worked out 5 times in this time, just so you know. Because people are always did you work out? I'm no. I have a really fat baby, but that is it. She's the fattest, sweetest baby ever. But this is what happens when you change your habits, when you do little things at a time. So this was the real transformation. So this was me in March last year, and then that was in October. And the person over here like felt these, right? That we talked about, anxious, depressed, isolated, lack of self-love. And then as I learned these habits and learned how to change with loving myself, not saying, I'm gonna love myself when I get to my goal, but being like, I love myself. That's why I'm gonna drink more water. I like water. So I hope if no one in here drinks water, that is your goal tonight. But like things like that, I love myself so much that I am gonna do little things so that within time, it will make a difference, right? And now I'm like, pep to my step, you know? Okay, so these questions again, right? So I just want you guys to think, I want you to leave with one like goal in mind. That's my goal for you. It's just to like think of one goal right now that could start just wherever you're at, how can you improve your health? What's one little thing you can do? Can you drink more water? Of course, that's the first thing that I read. Can you like sleep? Can you get better quality sleep? Set a time, go to bed a little bit earlier, even though it's nice to stay up late, you know? So, I also, throughout this whole thing, once I got to like that middle picture and was like, I feel so good, I decided that I wanted to help other people. So that's what I do now. I help coach people to find that health, to help them create those habits and do that for themselves so that they can find, not necessarily losing the weight, but gaining everything that I gained. Like I gained the confidence, I gained the knowledge of health and all those things. So if anyone here has any desire, you want help on your journey, just know I am happy to help you. I also, those health assessments that we handed out, if you want to fill them out, the first 50 people to bring it back there during like one of the breaks, we have a little fueling, a brownie that you can try. And then I also have my own personal giveaway that at the end of the night I will give to someone. So anyways, I thank you so much for letting me share, and let's do some giveaways. Yay!
And I was certified at the Life Coach School. And at the Life Coach School, Brooke Castillo, she didn't create, but she did. She created the model, but she didn't invent it because all of the things that come in the model are things that have already existed in our lives. And so on your table, there are two pieces of paper, and there's one that says journal, where it's a thought download, and then it has another page where it's to do two different models. So how they talk about doing a thought download is every day of just completely emptying out, and we'll wait on that for 1 sec. See, I could totally act that out, huh? You completely empty your brain of just to get all the thoughts out. Who here journals or writes in a journal? Why do you do that? Do you find it therapeutic? Why do you write in your journal? Yeah, you.
So, yeah, therapeutic, that's how I express myself, and so when I read out, so writing out is the way that I express my emotions, and with the affirmation, our family works on that as well.
Wow. Yeah. I just went through all of my journals. We prepared a video for my daughter and just went through everything. And it was crazy. When I was a junior in high school, I had some pretty horrible thoughts about my body where I was like, I am 52 freaking years old and I'm not gonna think those anymore. I'm gonna have my own back. But it was just really kind of sad to me to go back and see. Why do you journal? Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thought download, to do it specifically to empty out your brain, and it was really interesting when I was first taught this, and they teach you to just completely empty out all your thoughts. And we're women, we multitask, we think a lot, and it took me a minute, but you free write for 5 minutes without any editing, without checking grammar, without checking punctuation, and you just edit. And it was funny, my brain, typical, I mean, we're all over the place, we're juggling balls, but when I do my thought downloads, always something will come up, oh, gotta get taco shells for dinner tonight. So I write my grocery list when I do my thought downloads, and it's like, oh, I gotta, and so I have a little to-do things, and just to get it all out. But I wanted to use Ashley's challenge that she had for you to set a challenge that you want to do, because you can do the model. I wish that we had it up here, but what the model is it comes through and you fill in the different areas of your, so circumstances, every circumstance, so you take from your thought download, there are thoughts and circumstances. And I've done thought downloads before where I thought things that I was stressing about were circumstances, where they were just facts. And they weren't, they were just thoughts. They were complete thoughts that I was bringing. And so you have to fill in the model, and you'll see on your paper that you have there, that where you fill in the model, you fill in your thoughts, and then you go through, and your thoughts create our feelings lead to our actions, and our actions always cause our results, always. So if there's an area in your life that you're not liking, look at your thoughts around that area. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a 3-minute thought download and just empty. It's brain dump. Just get everything in your brain that you're coming out. You can either do it for anything, or if you want to take Ashley's challenge and come up with a goal, do your thoughts around that goal. Completely empty out all your thoughts, why you haven't achieved it, what do you think around it, is it possible for you? Okay, after you guys, I know that was a shorter time, but we're winging it. What does Ashley call it? Flexible. We are flexible, right? We're women, we go, we flow. Once you do your thought download, then you go through and you circle out thoughts. Circle all the thoughts and then cross out circumstances and just kind of see where you are with your thoughts. And I think you'll be surprised. I think that that's what comes with the power of either working with a coach, to be able to point out that that's just the thought. There are some things, like some family origin beliefs that we have. I mean, we all have them, right? Losing weight can be hard, making money's hard, rich people are bad. I mean, we all have these thoughts that we just grew up believing that are beliefs, where if you think a thought enough, it becomes a belief. And you get to a point, and I got to a stage in my life where I started challenging some of these thoughts, where it's like, that's not true. No, I'm not. And no, it's not. And they're pretty awesome. And it's just, you can challenge those thoughts. So once you go through and you get your thoughts and your circumstances, on the next page that you practice, you guys can do this later when you think of Ashley's challenge. Just put in there what the challenge, and you can do models backwards, which are so cool. If you guys do a couple models, once you get, one of a circumstance can be our weight or our money or our age. Thought it was funny when Stephanie brought that up. Why do we put, it's what we put behind that, what it means. I mean, it's my weight. I mean, there's no way I'm going to tell everybody, but why? I mean, it's just a number. There's people that weigh less than me that would be, or so made more, that would be super happy to be. I mean, it's so funny, the meaning we put behind neutral things. The weather is another thing that is neutral. So you can put your circumstance, if you're going to do a health journey, you can put as a circumstance the weight you want to be. And you can put as your result, you achieve that. And you can go through, and the thoughts that you have about that circumstance and the feelings that you would need to have in order to do the actions that would lead to that result. So you guys can do that after. I want to be able to make sure Steve has time, but we will watch this clip really quick. And then I want you guys to pay attention and point out some of the thoughts that she has just in this clip.
To be undeniably pretty. Yes. I'm beautiful.
Are you shopping for a gift?
And browsing for me.
So sizing is a little limited here in the store, but you can probably find your size online.
I have a crazy idea. Let's be honest for a minute. No matter how many times we hear, it's what's on the inside that matters. Women know deep down
Okay, you can stop it. I just love seeing that walk, that she's walking in. I mean, what changed between the day before? What changed? Not a friggin' thing. She hit her head. I mean, she bonked her head and I remember watching this movie, and I honestly thought, gosh, I was jealous of her. I'm like, gosh, that would be so nice to just wake up and to think really good thoughts about myself. And I'm like, wait a second. I mean, no, it wouldn't be nice, but it's just, I'm old enough and wise enough that it takes work. We have to do the work in order to have those, unless you can smack your head at the gym, really luckily, then you actually have to do the work, and you have to get clear on your thoughts, and you need to do your downloads, or you need to be able to see what you're thinking. I was working out this morning, and I hadn't worked out all this week. It was a busy week. My daughter got married. I'm going to ride that one until Monday, where it's no longer an excuse. But I went and I worked out, and I did not want to go. I had not gone all week, and I work out at F45 that I love, and it's so fun. But I was ornery. I didn't want to be there. We went on a vacation just with my little family before, went to Hawaii, ate a few too many Matsumoto shaved ices. I was just like, I feel chubby. I don't want to be here. And I was like, oh, kind of planning out my day. And I'm like, oh, I get to go and present tonight and talk about thoughts. I was like, wait a second. Let me kind of think of the last 15 minutes that I've spent in the gym. I've complained. I've thought about, I can't do this, why am I here? And then I stepped back and I did what Stephanie said, and I was like, oh my gosh, you still worked out 3 times. Your daughter got married. It was a beautiful week. It was an amazing opportunity to spend that week with her. She did everything right, and I took a minute. Then I went to the next stand and I was like, I think I can do heavier weights. And I went to anyway, I lifted easily much heavier weights than what I would have normally done. And I switched my thought, and I had an awesome workout, and my day turned around. But I had to step back and say, what are you thinking about? And I do this stuff. This last week I haven't. And so I just want to let you know that when you do the work and you're conscious, you really can create whatever it is you want. You really can have the circumstances you can't change, but you can have the results, and you can have your thoughts think differently about those circumstances. So if you guys all want to watch that, you can text me and your favorite. There's so many one-liners in there, but we won't tell anybody we like that, because other people might make fun of us, because it's kind of an embarrassing show, but I love it. So thank you guys.
And I'll do it 1,000 times again. And rise unafraid. I'll rise up in spite of the eagle. Rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. You feel like dying for you, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For that we have each other. Hey, we will rise, oh, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise, and we'll rise up, rise like the day. We'll rise up in spite of the ache, and we'll do it 1,000 times again for you, for you, for you, for you.
So, okay, our last section here, we are going to, I'm so excited for this guided meditation. We're going to be led by Holly in a guided meditation. A little bit about Holly. Anyone know where Rishikesh is by chance? Throw it out, any guesses? Okay, yeah, me neither. Well, guess what? She studied yoga and meditation in Rishikesh. It's in India. How cool is that? So she studied there and has been teaching yoga and meditation for 4 years. In 2017, she started Elevate Corporate Wellness, where she teaches yoga and meditation for over 30 companies and organizations. She hosts community mindfulness retreats, an Airbnb retreat, and has taught for a number of local studios. So Holly is amazing. We get to hear from her. And after Holly, our keynote speaker is Steve Eastman. There's so much I want to say about Steve, but I'll keep it short just because of time. You're lucky, Steve. Steve Eastman's been practicing as a therapist for over 20 years. He owns and is the owner and CEO of Family Transitions Counseling in Pleasant Grove. I've been there many times. He's amazing. Steve has worked with individuals struggling with a wide assortment of family and marital challenges, including anxiety, depression, addictions, and grief. He works often with both men and women who have been or are going through a divorce, and has special concern for helping them land well after the upheaval that a divorce causes. Steve has spoken at many LDS singles and mid-singles events, BYU Education Week, and women's conferences, and many awards and stakes throughout the Valley. He is the father of 4 fantastic kids, 3 of whom have graduated into the real life, and 1 who is still at home. And the secret that you all don't know about Steve is in high school, he won the slam dunk contest. So Steve will get to join us after Holly. Holly, it is all you.
I'll be really quick. I'll tell you just a tiny bit about myself, and then we'll get started into the guided meditation. I have been studying mindfulness, practicing on my own for I think it's been about 10 years now, and I received my yoga and mindfulness training in India a little over 4 years ago. Since then, I've been teaching all over the place. I've taught for about 30 different companies. I teach primarily mindfulness, but a lot of yoga as well. So that just gives you a little bit about myself if you're wondering why I'm standing up here and what we're about to do right now, if I've ever done this before. So I have, and I love meditation for many, many reasons, primarily for what it does within myself. The stillness and the calm space I can find within, you cannot find anywhere else. And with the state of the world right now, I find it very appropriate to spend a bit of time with ourselves, finding that stillness within. So we're gonna do about 9 minutes of meditation here. I'll guide you through it before Stephen. Now I gotta check my time so I don't go over. Okay, so we're gonna start. If you've never meditated before, it doesn't matter. I'll walk you through it. So remove anything from your hands. If you're holding anything, it might be distracting you, drop everything. And then uncross your feet if your feet are crossed, planting your feet firmly on the ground. And roll your shoulders down and back so you create some space through your chest, and sit back in your chair. You want to be comfortable. And now close your eyes. It's been a night full of uplifting messages, good conversation. But take a moment to just notice what it feels like to be seated here in your chair, in this beautiful space. And just notice your breath. Observe what it feels like to be seated here with your feet grounded into the earth, just breathing. Today's meditation will be centered on self-love. It can often be challenging to receive love from ourselves. But I ask you to look past the doubt, look past the opposition, allowing yourself to really feel the love for yourself tonight. In this place of stillness, bring an image of yourself into your mind. Imagine yourself standing in front of you, observing all the little details. Notice what you're wearing, noticing the expression on your face. Now, in this moment, it's easy to want to start nitpicking and pointing out things maybe that we're not a big fan of. But look past that. Look deeper. Starting with your face. Observing and seeing the humanity in your face. Maybe there's some little lines near your eyes, near your mouth. Love these lines, for they were hard-earned, and they show great signs of wisdom and life. Noticing your hair, whether it's curly, straight, long, short, fluffy, whatever it is. Maybe there's some white or some gray hairs intermixed. Love this hair. Appreciate that you have this beautiful hair. Bringing your awareness to your mouth. Think of all the beautiful, kind words of upliftment that your mouth has spread across this world. And appreciate your mouth. Noticing your shoulders. These shoulders that have carried weight, that have helped lift and hold you tall and strong. Appreciate and love these shoulders. Looking at your arms and your hands. These arms that have lifted and maybe sometimes even carried others that are in need. As you notice your hands, look at the little lines on your hands. Maybe there's dirt underneath your fingernails. Think of all the beautiful things that your hands have helped you to accomplish. And love your hands. Noticing your chest and your torso. And appreciate all that your body has done for you. Maybe you've brought other humans into this world. Or maybe you've accomplished amazing feats. Love and appreciate your chest and your torso for these things. But then look past everything on the outside and look at your heart. This heart that loves and cares for so many people and things. Appreciate yourself for this beautiful heart that you have. Observing now your legs. Think about all the wonderful things you've been able to accomplish with your legs. The people that you've been able to walk beside. the places that you've been able to go. Appreciate and love these legs. Noticing your feet, giving you the opportunity to stand tall. Appreciate your feet. Noticing yourself as a whole standing in front of you. And in your mind, repeating the phrase, you are brave, you are beautiful, you are enough. You are brave, you are beautiful, you are enough. I am brave, I am beautiful, I am enough. Picturing now in your mind's eye the other women in your life who support and uplift you. Your army of support. Imagine these women are all next to you, behind you, and around you. Maybe you're all holding hands or linking arms. Notice how it feels to be surrounded by all these people who lift and support you. During this challenging time, we often can't be next to the people that we love the most. But here in this space, you can feel that energy, that presence, that love. As you look upon this picture of yourself with these wonderful people, saying the phrase in your you are brave, you are beautiful, you are enough. We are brave, we are beautiful, we are enough. Sending all the love and appreciation you can to these beautiful, wonderful women in your life.